Minister Alex White to the House. Now call on Senator Mary Moran to move her adjournment motion.
Thanks very much, Lasky. I'd like to thank Minister White for coming to the House this evening, and I look forward to hearing his comments on the plight of a constituent of mine in Dundalk. The lady in question obtained a third level qualification in 2000. Unfortunately, after working for several years, she was made redundant and has been on job seekers allowance since. Commendably, the lady decided that rather than sitting at home doing nothing, that she would go back to college to pursue a further education course, which she applied for, and however she was refused the back to education allowance because the qualification that she holds at present is higher than the course that she had applied for in DKIT in September. And this decision is not, I'm well aware of that, and I totally understand the reasons for that. That decision is not in question. However, she was also refused the student grant from SUSI, and this decision is under appeal at the moment. But as a result of this decision, the lady has had to leave the course that she started on in September with really high hopes, but she's been forced to leave the course and return to the dole queue as she has no other income. I commend Minister Burton on the work that she is doing with Jobbridge and in the area, but I can understand also the situation where this lady where she is now at present, where she wishes to improve their education and increase job prospects, but the present system doesn't seem to allow for this. In the present times, when thankfully people are more aware of mental health issues, I think it's important that we take into account the mental health issues of such people into consideration. This lady wants to work, she wants to improve her education, and is totally despondent at having no other option but to go back on the dole. So I would be grateful, Minister, if you would pass on my concerns to Minister Burton and ask for a review in situations like this to ensure that people wishing to return to education, even if the qualification is lower than the one they already hold, that they're entitled to some kind of supports to ensure that they can improve their education. And, you know, I just feel that this lady has obviously been penalised for being too highly qualified in the first place. If she had no third level qualification before this, she would have, you know, qualified for the back to education allowance. And I do understand that if the qualification you have is higher and the course that you're going for is lower, but I just feel that there should be some kind of a system, you know, or something in situation where, you know, somebody is entitled to go, because, you know, there are many other people like her that want to come off the dole queue, that want to get jobs, that want to improve it. And I know that there are systems, but when you want to apply for a particular course to get into a college which she was on, and to have to be forced to, you know, leave it and go back on the dole queue is something that I think we should look at.
Thank you very much, Senator Moran. Minister White.
Thank you, Cahirley, and I'd like to thank Senator Moran for raising this issue. The Department of Social Protection has estimated expenditure of over €960 million on employment supports in 2012. This substantial expenditure, Cahirley, which is against a backdrop of significant fiscal consolidation, underlines the Government's commitment to enhancing support for activation and assisting people return to employment. As outlined in Pathways to Work, the Department will offer job placements, work experience, training and education initiatives to 85,650 people in 2012. Included in the supports available is the Back to Education Allowance, BTEA, scheme, which is a second chance education opportunities scheme designed to remove the barriers to participation in second and third level education. A person wishing to pursue BTEA will have to satisfy a number of conditions, such as being a certain age, in receipt of a prescribed social welfare payment for a specified time period, pursuing a full-time course of study leading to a recognised qualification in a recognised college, and progressing in the level of education held by the client with reference to the National Framework of Qualifications, among others. The BTEA scheme covers a large range of full-time courses of education in approved colleges, spanning basic foundation courses to third-level courses across all disciplines. The Department received an application for Back to Education allowance from the person in question, as the Senator has outlined. The application was refused on the grounds that the course did not lead to a higher qualification on the National Framework of Qualifications than that already held. The person concerned was notified in writing of the reason that she did not so qualify. The BTEA guidelines are in the main in line with the mechanisms in place for student support type schemes administered by the Department of Education and Skills. Progression in education is a condition which is not unique to BTEA. Indeed, state support for education purposes is grounded on a student progressing from one qualification level to a higher one. This is necessary to ensure displacement does not occur, in that courses could be offered to students who are not progressing at the cost of students progressing from a lower education level. Resources allocated and numbers supported via BTEA have increased steadily in recent years. It is estimated that over €200 million will be spent on BTEA in 2012, as compared to the position in 2008, for example, when just over €77 million was spent on the scheme. Some 25,700 participants were supported in the 2011-2012 academic year, which represents a significant 120% increase compared to the 08-09 academic year. It's expected that numbers availing of the scheme for the current academic year will be similar to last year. If a person wishes to pursue a part-time education course, they may be able to do so while retaining their job seeker payment under the part-time education option, or PTEO, of the Back to Education programme. An example of courses that may be pursued under the PTEO are the 6,000 part-time higher education places for unemployed people made available under the Springboard initiative announced earlier this year by the Minister for Education and Skills, Rory Quinn, TD. In addition, the Department also supports the provision of a wide variety of training through networks of private sector companies in a range of sectors and regions supported by SkillNets Limited via the PTEO. It should also be noted that FÁS, as the National Training Authority, anticipates the needs of and responds to a constantly changing labour market. It strives to do this through the provision of tailored training programmes that suit various needs, and access to many training programmes is not determined by a person's welfare status. The Department is currently reviewing a wide range of activation supports available to DSP customers, including BTEA, and it is the intention to canvass the views of stakeholders as part of the implementation process resulting from the review. Thank you.
Mr. White, Senator Moore, have you any final question?
Thanks very much. I'm afraid, Minister, it doesn't go any further to the query that I had. And perhaps I should also outline that this lady was in fact refused the student maintenance grant because they said that she was in receipt of the job seekers. But she wasn't in receipt of the job seekers. If she was going back, she had to forgo that to go on, back to education. And with the appeal process that's presently in place with the SUSI, I know it's a different department, but with the appeals place now there, it has meant that she has had to drop out of college to do it. And I just feel that, when we are trying to help people, as I said, I know that, it does affect the mental health of people as well, that kind of feel totally despondent then when they want to go out, they want to further their education, and they're left in a position where they can't. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator White. Or Senator Moore.
Just say clearly that I understand the issue that the Senator raises because I'm familiar with it. I've come across it myself. I think, though, that the difficulty is that when there is as it were, a regime in place and a set of requirements in place, it's awfully difficult to see how that can actually be set aside in any individual case. But that doesn't take from the strength of the case that the Senator makes for the individual concerned. I'll certainly communicate what the Senator has said to the Minister. When she's waiting for the SUSI, if the appeal comes through there, the course could be over. Yeah, I'll certainly communicate those sentiments to the Minister.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Mr.
Senator White.